Do IIT IIM credentials matter? What happens if you lose your job? How do you deal with stress? Let's join in three questions with Team Muralidharan and figure out from 40 years of experience what all it takes. But first, subscribe to this channel and be sure you click the bell so you are invited to every exclusive premiere we have every other day. Hello viewers, we are so absolutely delighted to have Team Muralidharan with us today on three questions. And this gentleman has come with all those I's, the IIT and the IIM. He's got all those alphabets before his name, but he's gone over 40 years of serial entrepreneurship, being relevant to the times, and is the chairman and the chief executive of the TMI Group since many years. He's continuing to be relevant with various things that we're going to find out today. But Murali, the first thing that I want to find out from you is, in these changing times today, are all these IIT, IIM, all our higher educations, is it relevant, or are we just losing it somewhere with education?
Yeah, I think what I would start by saying that education as we understood all this time, that is a degree, will not be relevant. But what you learn in the process of acquiring a degree is relevant. For example, people ask me, I did IIT Madras in chemical engineering, I did MBA from IIM in marketing, and I'm doing HR job now. My entire work is on HR, right? Human resources management, talent management, and so on. So people ask, what did you get out of IIT? What did the value you got from IIT? I said, IIT is a place you discover yourself. Right? You discover that you're not the best in the world. There are bright guys better than you. First rule number one. So if you think with a lot of chip on your shoulder, I was a topper in school. I thought I was very bright. And then I suddenly realized you're nobody. You're brighter guys than you. So it sets you a benchmarking mindset. It told me, IIT taught me that you have to fight. If you want to really compete in the world, you have to fight. And 90% of the fight is within your mind.
Awesome.
Every exam is a tough one, so you got to prepare for the exam, not to lose yourself in the process of preparing. So I would say IITs and IIMs will be still relevant because they set up your mind, they tune your mind to be ready to the real world, right? But that is not the case with many engineering colleges in India or many MBA schools in India. It's not that. So
right.
The degree will be burnt. But if you really go to a good institution, you study with the. I always say the IIT is famous not because of the faculty, it's not famous because of the edifice. It is because we are course mates who are competitive like you, and everybody comes there because they want to compete. So you learn how to compete. I think that's what I would say.
Fantastic. And I guess you also develop great networks, which serve as an entrepreneur. So there are so many entrepreneurs in this generation who are just making magic on YouTube and places like that. But it's all about outreach. It's all about the networks we have, isn't it?
But one important point, I think that I want to distinguish between, let's say, a network, what YouTube creates for you versus the network IIM creates for you.
Please do.
Yeah, it's a very important difference. For example, I'll give you an example. A good friend of mine, and we had an eye problem, and we are now friends for the last 35 years almost, right? In 1981, I passed out of IIM. Now we are in 2021, right? Almost 40 years. And he reached out to me. I had to do something for him in the hospital here, picked up a bed for him. I arranged a dinner for him. His wife came here. That relationship is deep. I mean, can you say you meet somebody in YouTube and you will do all this with a person?
You so made the point really strong.
Yeah. 40 years in relationship will survive.
So as a matter of fact, I am very inspired by the thing that you are currently doing. You're setting up this community which is using technology, and you're at the frontier of technology to help people in their career change processes and stuff like that. Which actually brings me to my second question. But just to put a cap on the first one, it's human values that's what's important, and that's what real networks are. When you study in premium institutes, you develop your mind, you develop your capacity, and that's what you apply to be entrepreneurs par excellence. My second question is about the people, thanks to the pandemic more so, they're losing their jobs and there is a large increase in stress in society. How do you view this, and what would you advise people who are going through stressful times to do? And also in the context of the relevant app that you're creating, I'd love to know more about.
Yes. So my first advice is don't panic. You have a lot of time ahead of you. Life is a long journey. You work for 30, 40 years. And therefore, 1 year you should invest. Historically, what I used to tell people from last 20 years is that it's the unique parody of our time. That a person like you and me, we will buy a house, invest in a house, we will invest in maintenance of the house, we'll paint the house regularly, change the tiles, we'll buy a
Mhm.
car, send it for maintenance. But the asset which gets all these assets is you, right? How much money, you ask people, how much time and money do you spend on your own upgradation? What?
Awesome.
Zero. I don't spend money on myself. It's somebody else's job. My company has to spend time or money on me. They'll send me to training courses, but I am very busy. I don't want to learn. So it's just it's a parody, right? So these
Absolutely.
times bring it that into focus. That's what plan we are trying to do. We are trying to say two things, that because we have reached a stage in life that you have to take ownership for your own career and your future.
Mhm.
Rule number one. The past you can pass it on to your company, employer, etc. Those days are gone. Because the world of VUCA, what you call vulnerability, or all the challenges which we used to use in the corporate world have entered the career world, where there's no certainty of anything, right?
Right.
So the only way you can survive in the future is yourself, your own skill set. So you have to invest in yourself. You need to take ownership for it. And what we are trying to do in Clan is called Career and Learning Network, basically. The Clan. It's a new product we are launching very soon. It's an app-based product. What it does is basically we study the behavior of people. How do they learn? In fact, it's another big insight which I've gathered of last 20 years. If I say the same thing, you say the same thing, and the
Mhm.
person discovers the same thing, there's a huge difference in the impact of what you learn, right?
Correct.
Many people like to discover, and they discover, they tell you as if that is ultimate truth, right? You may be telling
Absolutely.
them for 100 years, it don't matter when they have to discover. Right? So, discovery based learning means there are two things that have to fall in place. One, your learning has to be highly contextual. You
Mhm.
can't ask somebody to discover something happened in America in company A and you're in company B in insurance. So you extrapolate that experience and knowledge and put it here. Nobody can do. So first rule of discovery is that discovery learning has to be contextual to my job, my role, my company, etc. So what we are doing in Client is to create a peer network and role-based learning models wherein you only first learn how to do your current job. Most of
Mhm.
the MBAs, unfortunately, MBA schools charge a lot of fees and teach them how to become a managing director. Unfortunately, they don't teach them how to be a salesman first, right? If you're not a good salesman, you're not going to make it there as a managing director.
True.
So we tell them, client is about frontline executives and managers. It's called Flame, and we're going to focus on training people how to take ownership and how can they succeed in their current job by investing in themselves, learning, peer-based learning, role-based learning, and how to pick up the future skills required, that is the digital skills required for your role right now, so that you can be future ready.
Fantastic. That sounds that sounds like a perfect combination of high tech and high touch. It's keeping the human values in, and it's bringing that network. And you're so right. When a person discovers for themselves, it's a feeling of it's a big boost to the ego. So it's a feeling of having arrived, having unearthed something, which nobody can impose upon others. So it's a fantastic learning methodologies I can make out, and it's bound to do very well because today when we are living in this stressful world, and this is part of what I wanted you to also throw some light on. You did say about uh, finding meaning in what you do and making time out, for investing in yourself. But let's say I don't have enough resources to keep aside for a year to invest in myself because I just haven't been planning my cash right. Uh, what can I do? Is there a network I can fall back on? Is there something available?
Yeah, so even in clan, what we plan to do is not to take a break to learn. It's actually a meant for work, whatever you're doing, work now and learn. So
Fabulous.
today I did a job fair. Yesterday we had a very fantastic job fair in Hyderabad with Hyderabad police. 6,000 girls came. It was a women she team of Hyderabad along with us. We did a job fair. Jobs are available. There were about 1,300 people out of 6,000 people who came in are likely to get a job. Right? One in
Mm-hmm.
five, one in four. The
Mm-hmm.
problem is people have a mental illusion of the kind of job they want to do. This job suits me. I want to do this job, and people have told them all kind of storytelling. So what I feel is, if you really at these critical times, take the best job available. Don't worry too much about it, the right job for you. How will it be in future? Take a job, put your energy on the job, and parallelly invest in next 1 year. And Klein is such a model where you can go on an app, download the app, learn whenever you can, learn in the night, learn in whatever you get the time. So you need to upgrade yourself along with a job. To me,
Exactly.
any learning without a job is very limited. It is like yoga, learning yoga. I'm sure you are an expert in yoga. You cannot do yoga without a practice of yoga.
Right.
I can see any number of YouTube videos, but unless I practice it, I don't know what it means. Similarly, a job, doing a job is a practice of learning. So when you do any job, whatever job you do, if you really focus on understanding the job role better and trying to do the best you can, and in the process acquiring new digital skills, I think that's the way I would go. I don't think it requires money much, but you have to shut down your aspiration. I need to go to a pub on Saturdays. I need to
Absolutely.
do this. You've got to shut it down for 1 year. What difference does it make? You're not going to die in 1 year's time. You've got another 30 years to live. So the problem with young people today, they have to discover this. So unfortunately, whatever I told them is no use to them because they say, who's this guy? What is he telling me? I'll have to discover it for myself, right? So, but if they
Exactly.
discover it, I think peace will be there in their mind.
I think that really sums it up beautifully because you said it. You've got to be grounded, and then you've got to rearrange your priorities so that you are not in the mess for the next month, 2 months, 3 months. You're making your trajectory out of it. And I often say this in the workshops I do, that the way out of stress is it's a three-legged stool, and the three legs are priorities, what you just said, energy, how you use the power that you have inside you, and purpose. And once you get even one of these three organized, if you get your priorities organized, the stress stool doesn't have a leg to stand on. If you get your purpose also in place and you're in command of your energy, there's no stress at all forever.
Sure,
So
sure.
that brings me to the third question, which is actually about purpose. Because I'm absolutely fascinated at the thought, which I learned recently, of you at this age with all this accomplishment in the corporate world, resolving to dedicate the next 10 years of your life to public interest litigations for the poor. How did you find that sort of a purpose? And more than that, how can anybody find purpose in of that level?
Yeah, I think I would say this very interesting quote that whether it's purpose or opportunity, yeah, it's not that you discover it because you went to some deep thinking and you come across it, right? People say that opportunity knocks on everybody's door. Some people open it, some people don't. Similarly, purpose also comes from experiences of life. You meet somebody, you talk in some context with some people, and that gives sets you some reflective mindset, and the reflective mindset puts some thoughts in your mind, and then you start building on it. For example, so my
Um,
PIL, if you imagine this is the state of affairs of people like me and you who are very well connected, we know a lot of people, and even if I want to get something done, it's a very big challenge. So imagine a person who doesn't have these connections. Imagine a person who spent his life earnings, let us say life earnings on something, he loses it because the insurance company took a signature from which he didn't understand, or a medical fee is unreasonably high. For example, hospitals, you go to a heart problem, then you come back with 25 lakhs bill. How do they pay?
right.
And many times the 25 lakhs bill may not be valid. They might have not given
True.
him a proper advice on a package to be taken. He didn't advise him when to go out of the hospital. So
True.
I think the poor in this country, in fact, somebody said very interestingly, we are in a cake, I think in the K-shaped recovery. Traditionally in the economy, we talk about V-shaped recovery. V-shaped means it went down all the way. It can only
Mm.
go up. But now they are saying it's a K-shaped recovery. K-shaped recovery, some people are going up, some people are going down. That's a K, right?
That's right.
So India is in a very
Gosh.
peculiar situation. Yeah, India is going through a very peculiar situation. Rich are becoming richer, poor are becoming poorer. And the COVID actually pushed a lot of people into poverty. So
Mm.
imagine on one side there's a poverty, other side legal costs have gone over the roof. Today, some of the Supreme Court lawyers, so-called senior advocates, earn as much as 100 crores a year. You can't even get access to them.
Wow.
100 crores is what they file as a return. So I asked myself, what is this point? If you're a common man in this country, you have no access to judiciary, you don't have access to judicial system. So me and another partner of mine, both of us want to start a law firm and we want to take public causes, not individual cases, but public causes. It could be under trial. There are many under trials in this country who have spent longer time in the jail than what you would have been put in jail for conviction. See, under trial
Yeah.
means what conviction not happened. Even if you convict me, I'll take 3 years. I'm already 4 years there. They've not even the time. Nobody cares about them. Nobody can file a bond for them. Nobody can file a. So there are several challenges for the poor in this country. Now, let me end with the one last statement. My idea is in some way, if we can put our life savings and whatever money we have made into a society, raise the money and work on improving the lot of at least some people in using the judicial process rather than a
Mm.
violent process, which is what Naxals follow. I think judicial process is one way of doing that to bring some relief to many people. I think that will be a nice way to hang the boots.
Fantastic, fantastic. Thank you so much. The passion with which you spoke about this is what fuels purpose, and anybody in search for purpose got to find something that he or she is so passionately connected to. I hope as this video reaches you guys, you get something out of this so that you are able to take advice. I mean, get on to Clan, for instance, and get coaching. Maybe you could associate with somebody one to one and find somebody who gives you that direction, because that's what's going to take you there. Murli, this was very, very inspiring. Thank you so much. And
Welcome.
you viewers,
Welcome.
it's now all over to you. Remember LCSS, you got to like, comment, share, and subscribe to this. And don't forget to click on the notification bell so that you're informed of the next premiere as soon as it happens. Thank you so much. Have a great day.